Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So, just like last time with Monster Hunter Ken's event, after the event is ended, it's time to do an event review. And this time we're obviously going to be reviewing the Endless Nightmare, which was the Akuma event. A few things to say about the event. Maybe the outcome of this video will surprise you, maybe it won't, I don't know. But let's jump into it and let's start off by talking about the event structure itself. But when it came down to the event structure, it wasn't too different, to be honest, from the Monster Hunter Ken event. The layout of everything, the way that things kind of were displayed to us was pretty much the exact same. The only real difference is we had this thing called Master's Gift, which was a collection event, I want to say, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we had the standard Cycle of Fate, which was like the Shadow Labyrinth thing that we got last time. With the Akuma Trial, which was basically like the raid. We had the Temple Lamp, which is your exchange shop, and you also had the special summon section. We did have missions as well, and we also had a training level. Again, these things were fairly similar to what we had got before. You could get some decent rewards from the training event and also from your missions, but we'll touch on that at a later point in the actual video itself. So if we can go on here and take a look. So this was the kind of missions that you got. There was lots of different missions that you could do. Each mission would give you some resources and give you some of these beads. This is where we had our first, I want to say, real issue. There was two issues really. One, they cocked up and they never put all the missions in there, right? Yes, at the end of it they did give us some tickets to make up for it, but if we'd actually done the missions, you would have got beads, you would have also got resources as well. So although they did try and make it right by giving us the additional training levels, the fact that we didn't have the missions to do meant that we probably didn't get as many rewards as we should have got from this entire event, which is a little bit disappointing, especially when those are things that you really need to grow your account more, okay? So the other thing we had was Master's Gift. Now this was a bit of an issue as well. This was great, don't get me wrong, when it worked very easily. All you had to do was do your dailies. Doing your dailies, all of them, you would get points, which is your, you can see at the bottom there where it says remaining points. You could earn enough points to turn 2 of these a day, and you got decent stuff, like you got good resources, you got some tokens for summoning, you get some diamonds, you got tickets to summon. Great. The issue arose when you were finished. The two issues you had was you continued to accumulate points. So because you continued to accumulate points, the game put the annoying little icon there that told you that you could basically redeem your points. You could go in and you could use them somehow, but at no point did they ever decide to refresh the board or give us a second board to attempt. So those who are a little bit OCD, ADHD, that kept seeing that little button were getting pretty annoyed by it. And even if they had maybe just either stopped giving you points after you'd maxed this out or put up a second board, sure, they didn't necessarily have to put the tickets in there if they didn't want to, but they could have put some like low level resources or something for those who did it early. They could continue to kind of churn away at it and get more stuff out of this event. So I know that was a bit of an annoyance to people, which is why I'm mentioning it in this video. So the other one we want to take a look at is this, which was the Cycle of Fate. This was good for rewards. You got a lot of stuff out of here. You got vehicle summons, you got boost stones for like boosting up your fighting spirits, you got the little blue shards to raise up your fighting heart, and obviously you got tickets as well for summoning. This was pretty much the same as the one for the Ken event. There was a bit more story, I suppose, attached to this one. Ken was pretty much go up a straight line, beat some bosses, clear them all, get as much as you can kind of thing. Whereas with this, they tried to put a little bit of an adventure element into it. Unfortunately, the actual amount of content was probably about 5-6 minutes, but it's like do a bit, wait 3 days, do a bit more, wait 3 days. So while it was rewarding, it wasn't really much in the way of content. I think for a really casual player, it would probably make them happy, you know. Me personally, I'd like a little bit more meat on the bone, like a bit more to do, because unfortunately, once it's done, there's really not any more to it than that. So while I do like the mod, I just feel it needs more, you know, more to do, because once you've done it, it's done, you know, and it doesn't take very long to do it. So the only actual meat we had for like long-term content in this event was actually this, which is the Shura Trial. The Shura Trial was more or less the same as the raid. The only difference is, instead of working together, you were working against each other. I like this and I didn't like this. I like this because you basically got to experiment. You got to experiment, you got to try new things. However, there's a slight downside to it. Well, two actually. One, the equips that you got were RNG. So if you got unlucky and you didn't get like crits and stuff like that early on, you would struggle to beat other people who did get lucky and did get crits and did get the things that were going to be more advantageous to them, right? The other thing is, this mode needed experimentation, right? There was a few layers of experimentation. One, what equips were going to work. That was important. Two, crits, right? So you had to go and go and go and hopefully you get the crits. Three, and most importantly, timing. When you started your combo was the key element to scoring high on this. The problem is, the leaderboard system, because it has the replay attached to it, as soon as someone found a strategy and a set of timing that worked well, everyone just copied it. So if someone had more time, they could just sit all day chasing a crit, chasing a crit, chasing a crit, and if they eventually got enough crits, they're going to outscore the person who came up with the actual strategy to beat the boss in the most efficient way. Because again, it was literally all about timing. You just had to time it so that your DPS was hitting Akuma and not hitting either Ken, Gen, or Ryu. Ryu? So you could literally go on the leaderboard, look at somebody who's a high scoring run, see when they started their combo, start it at the same time, and if you get more crits than them, you're going to get a better score. So I don't really know how they balance that. Maybe don't make replays available until after the event. I don't know. I really don't know, but it sucks a wee bit that someone can come up with a strategy and then someone else can just simply copy it. I mean, I guess all's fair, you know, but like, it kind of takes away the experimentation and discovering thing, you know. If you see that someone's got a team, fair enough, you can copy that, but like actually being able to copy precisely their timing, you know, which again was the key to this. I don't know how much I'm a fan of that, but hey, maybe that's just me. You guys can comment on that one down below. So the last thing, and probably the biggest thing for some people, I mean, it really just depends on you, I suppose. But the last thing we're going to talk about is going to be the banner. So the banner is still in game. It's not going to go anywhere, right? Basically, just to break it down for you guys who've not played it, I hadn't played it at first, but now I have. This is literally just exactly the same as AFK. You've got a standard summoning pool, you've got your divination summoning pool, which is, I think it's called stargazing in AFK Arena, and then you've got your special summon. Over there, they've got another one, I forget the name of it right now, but it's the same idea. And basically what happens is you've got standard units in your standard pool, but you have a chance of summoning the units from the divination or stargazing pool, so that's the same. In the divination pool, you can select any of those characters, apart from characters who go into the special summon, or whatever it's called over there. Again, I forget the name of it. The key difference between us and AFK Arena is, in AFK Arena, it's fixed 3 pity standard summon, 6 pity on the other 2 summons, right? We don't have that in Street Fighter, so that makes that quite difficult, okay? The other big difference between the 2 games is, in AFK, it's only 500 diamonds to trade for one of the special summon tickets for this type of banner, whereas here, to get free, it's 3,000 tickets, okay? So there's quite a gulf in cost there. It's double the cost basically. However, if you actually compare the rest of the systems, they're identical. 2,700 for a standard summon, same over there. 5,000 for a divination summon, same over there. But the ticket cost for these things are vastly more expensive here. The other difference there is you can earn these a lot more frequently. So I feel that's where this fell flat basically. They introduced this too quickly. There should have been more systems in place for people to earn these tickets. When this was introduced into EFK, they retroactively gave people a lot of tickets that they would have earned if they had been playing the game up to that point as a brand new player. With Street Fighter, this just got dropped in the game. People weren't eased into it, and with the fact that there's no pity on this banner, you might have got a lot of tickets from the event, but you can quite easily have walked away with absolutely nothing, which I know a lot of players did, and I think that's why a lot of players were very disappointed by this event overall. Technically, the banner isn't part of the event, but it really is. Ultimately, people class the new unit as being part of the event, and how you went about getting this guy was a massive letdown. We did have the exchange shop, the tempo lamp, I forgot to mention that. That was pretty decent, but obviously it was held back by the fact that we couldn't get as many beads because they didn't add all the missions, and some of the missions were essentially paywalled. You had to buy summons for him to get beads, to spend beads to then earn more mission points. It was a whole thing. They need to stop doing that. Missions shouldn't be paywalled. It's essentially the only content we've got because these events don't take long to do. So grinding the missions is like your actual content. So while I would say that on a surface level, this was better than the Monster Hunter Ken event. Okay, I gave the Monster Hunter Ken an L rating, which I'm going to change to an F, because if I ever tier list this thing, F will be the bottom tier. I would say this event was better than the Monster Hunter Ken event, simply because you got more summons, meaning you got more resources, okay? However, I don't think it was better to the point where I wouldn't also give this event an F, because not only did they remove pity, they messed up the missions, the rollout of the whole master trade-in thing was pretty poor. You could have just like refreshed that. The RNG basis of the trial and the fact that, like I said, you could just copy people's attacks. I mean, I know you can do that anywhere, right? But all in, I don't think there was enough to elevate this much higher than the Ken event. The only difference between this one and the Ken event, really, in my opinion, was the additional resources you got from these summons. But ultimately what people wanted was the unit, and at the end of the day, there is literally free-to-play players who used every single ticket they have, and they have not walked away with one copy of Akuma. During the Ken event, they got a copy of Ken. So can you really say that this one's better for every player? I don't think so, and I really hope they address this moving forward. Just, even though it's still a high number, just add 6 pity, just copy AFK. You've copied everything else. Every AFK game does, I've noticed that now since I started trying them all. But just copy all the systems, add 6 pity here, add 6 pity to divination, make the normal summon be standard free draw pity, and then it's done, you know. If people aren't happy at that point, then fair enough. But at least at that point you've tried and you've attempted to make it a fairer system. Reduce the cost of these tickets, that would also be pretty good. But overall, I need to give it an F again. I'm sorry, I do. I'm not just doing it for conjecture's sake or to kind of get you guys commenting, but I'm also not doing it to hate on the game, because you know what, I would love to have more missions to do. I would love there to be more meat on the bone, more things to sink your teeth into. People say that AFK games aren't designed to be like that, which is weird because they're like some of the most expensive games you can play, yet you're not supposed to play them. It's just bizarre, right? Just give us more to do. That's all I'm asking. Give us more to do in these events. Make parts of it longer. Make more missions that we can grind. Don't gate the shop by adding paid missions, and everyone will be happy. Everyone will be happy. We know the structure, because I've told you guys already. In 2 weeks' time, we're probably going to get another event. And it's going to be not a standard event. It's going to either be this or something like this, so it'll come with its own event. And I hope, personally, that there's just more positive things to speak about. People say that I'm a bit too negative, but you know what? Don't give us negative things to talk about and I won't be negative. If the game's doing well and the game's doing things right, then I'm not going to make fake negativity. You know, I just want to see things get better. I want to see the game do better. I want to see it treating its players better, and I want to see these events getting better. Because right now they're over in minutes. Like literally, they're done as part of your dailies, and that's a bit boring. Just make them more involved. Anyway, guys, I've been Hayzink. Let me know what you thought of the event in the comments down below. Not the summons. I'm not asking how your summons went. I want to know how you thought the event went. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Peace.